Hello, everyone. Today we'll be discussing Trafficking Hotline 2021 graphics. Always like starting off talking about doing a Bible scripture. Sometimes I like doing two. Matthew 18, verse 6 says, "But who shall offend one of those little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea." In Matthew 18, verse 10, "Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones, for I say unto you, that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven." Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor for fair use. Thank you. Tip line down there, it's U.S. Human Trafficking Hotline, 188-373-7688. I think it says, okay. Be sure to show that. Keep it across the street, 7888, or text SMS B3 or 233-733. Text. Okay, we got a good show today talking about the Trafficking Hotline share graphics. Let me get to the page where we go over. It's a lot of information to go over. And I hope that I have some of y'all come in. Make sure I change the screen over to that. See the full screen. See where the Trafficking Hotline share graphics stuff is. Education is the key to expanding the reach and effectiveness of the Trafficking Hotline. It is important for people to know the scope of sex and labor trafficking, types of human trafficking, common targets of trafficking, and how to get help. Share Polaris's infographics on social media to help educate friends and family about what trafficking actually looks like. So I'll close out that screen. All right. And I open up this PDF file. They have it for people to download to share. The Polaris analysis of the 2021 data from the National Human Trafficking Hotline. There's a summary, a form of typology, demographics, agent entry into exploitation, risk factors, vulnerabilities grouped, recruitment location, recruiter type, recruitment tactics, access points, exploiter relationship to victim, force, fraud, and coercion. Said this is 2021's data. It said this report represents 2021 data from the Polaris operated National Human Trafficking Hotline. Please refer to the relevant tables for more detailed information on a particular topic or to explore changes from 2020. The scale and the scope. From January the 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2021, there were 10,359 trafficking situations reported to the National Human Trafficking Hotline. In those situations, a total of 16,554 likely victims of trafficking were identified. The top three types of trafficking reported in 2021 were escort services, 10%, pornography, 8%, and illicit massage, health, and beauty, 8%. The recruitment or data shows that trafficking victims are generally recruited by someone they know, such as a family member or a caregiver, by 33%, an intimate partner by 28%, or an employer 22%. As a whole, the Internet remained the top reported recruitment location. Recent migration relocation remains the most frequently reported risk factor or vulnerability identified, applying to just over half, 54%, of all likely victims is with a known risk factor, vulnerability. This also applied to 93% of likely victims of labor trafficking. So we'll go over here to this table. Total trafficking situations is said 10,359. Total likely victims 16,554. The escort types, like I just said, escort services, pornography, illicit massage, health and beauty, resident based commercial sex, and personal sexual servitude. Personal sexual servitude is 2%. Residential based commercial sex 5%. Illicit massage, health and beauty 6%. Pornography 8%. Escort services 10%. Top three recruiter types. Family member caregiver, like we said, is 33%. Intimate parties or partner 28%. Employer 22%. Top three recruitment locations. Internet dating site. Be careful, y'all, on dating sites. Be careful about that. 13%. Street, 11%. Internet, Facebook, 10%. So that's why kids should not be at Facebook because they can easily be manipulated into doing these things. Top five risk factors, vulnerabilities. Recent migration, relocation, 54%. Mental or physical health concern, 10%. Substance use concern, 9%. Unstable housing, 8%. Runaway or homeless youth, 7%. But just know that's the top five risk factors according to the vulnerabilities and stuff. But as we know, a lot of times the numbers are way higher than what we present here. Okay? So it talks about exploitation is similar to what's seen in recruitment. The top types of exploiters identified in 2021 were employers by 43%, those with familiar relationship to the victim 26%, and intimate partners 22%. Emotional abuse 28%, economic abuse 26%, and threats 23% remain the most frequently reported methods of force, fraud, and coercion experienced by likely victims. Interaction with friends and family was a top reported access point. In 2021, friends and family were the access point for help for 43% of victims, with an identified access point 3,317. As we go back over here to this to re-identify top three exploiter types, employer 43%, familiar relationship to victims is family 26%, intimate partner of victims 22%. Top five force, fraud, and coercion, emotional abuse 28%, economic abuse 26%, threats 23%, isolation 20%, withhold, denies, needs, or wants 14%. Top five of the access points, interaction with friends and families 43%, interaction with LE, that's law enforcement, criminal justice system 23%, access to health services 20%, access to mobile apps, social media 14%, access to general social services 11%. I give anybody permission to share this. It said to protect the identity of the people we serve, the National Human Trafficking Hotline does not disclose exact statistics related to venues, industries, victim information, or signaler information referenced fewer than 3 times. Hello, everyone that's here. Thank you for coming. The form and the topology. 2021 form of trafficking, there's labor, which is they had 10,040 situations in 2020 and 10% of the situations. 2021, they had 10,066 situations and 10% situation, and then percent change was 4%. The sex trafficking, the number of situations, look how large that is. 7,629 number of situations, 72%. In 2021, 7,498 number of situations, 72%. But this does not mean that it decreased, y'all, by no means. This is just going by statistics of people that were caught, cases that were caught. All right? Just note that. And there's sex and labor. Number of situations, 339. See, it's got sex up there again. Sex and labor, though, 339. 3% in 2020. 2021, there were 400. Number of situations, 4%, and it rose 20%. Sex plus sex and labor, 7,968 cases. All right, that's 76%. In 2021, 7,898 situations, 76%. And other not specified is 1,516. That's in 2020, 14% of situations. And in 2021, there's 1,395, and then there's 13%. According to the form of trafficking in 2021, it had that like at 2021 form of trafficking, and then it's got here again. I don't get it why they got it 2 different ways right here. Because 2020 right there, number of situations. Oh, likely victims. Okay, so the one below is talking about likely victims, while the one above was talking about situations. All right. 2021 form of trafficking, labor 3,553, and 2020, sorry, likely victims 21%. In 2021, the number of likely victims of labor trafficking was 3,785, 23% of likely victims. Sex trafficking, the likely victims is 10,834, which is 65% likely victims. In 2021, they say 10,571 number of likely victims, 64%, -2%. They say it went down, but that just means that it went down from the reporting. Y'all can see all this, the sex and labor, and y'all see all that. Then it's got sex plus sex and labor. Look at that number, how big that is in 2021. 2020, sorry. 11,493, 69%. 11,278, 68%. They're saying it probably went down 2%. Well, you look at the infographics of nationwide, what you see with the government having on sometimes on the YouTube, when they go like this and confront it, these details are much higher than that. Situations where form of trafficking is other not specified typically occur when a law enforcement agent or service provider contacts the trafficking hotline for resources and referrals but does not disclose the details about the trafficking situation due to confidentiality. This category also includes incidents in which the person reporting the information references human trafficking but does not provide further detail regarding the presence of labor or commercial sex. These cases are often submitted to the trafficking hotline through anonymous online tip reports. The form and topology continued. This table shows a breakdown of incidents by the type as defined in Polaris' report. Typology of modern slavery defined as sex and labor trafficking in the United States. Note that while type of trafficking is similar to the venue industry values on the trafficking hotline website, there are some differences, so values may not perfectly match. Which they say in the agriculture and animal husbandry, 84% is the number of situations in 2020. In 2021, they said that was 117, that number of situations. Percent change right there was 42%. The arts and entertainment, the number of situations was 18. Number of situations in 2021 was 19. So it's up equal to 7%. Bars, strip clubs, and cantinas, there was a number of situations were 128. Number of situations in 2021 was 116. As I said, these are the reports that people called in. So it could be even higher than the carnivals. 4. Number of situations, 4. Number of situations in 2021, 7. Commercial cleaning services, 17 in 2020, 16 in 2021. Construction, 64 in 2020, 65 in 2021. Domestic work, 201, 185 in 2021. Virgin types, 131 in 2020, 2021, 128. Escort services, 1,117 in 2020. In 2021, 1,082. Factories and manufacturing, 15, 2020. 2021, 24. Forestry and logging, 6 in 2020. In 2021, it's 5. As I noted, it is for the people that call in. Health and beauty services, 19 in 2020, 16 in 2021. Healthcare in 2020, 10. Healthcare in 2021, 16. Call-ins for traffic. Hotels and hospitality in 2020 is 23. In 2021 is 36. Wow. Illicit activities, 122. In 2021, it was 108 that call ins. Illicit massage, health, and beauty, 625 in 2020, 626 2021. Landscaping, 18 in 2020, 20 in 2021. Outdoor solicitation, 210 in 2020. Sorry, 2020 there was 210 outdoor solicitations. 2021 was 221. Peddling and begging, 37 in 2020. In 2021 there was 45. Personal sexual servitude, 294. In 2021, 228. Pornography, 938 incidences. 2021, 807. As I said, this is just from people calling in and reporting, or somebody reporting. Everybody doesn't have the chance to report it. Recreational facilities, 4 in 2020. In 2021, it was 2. Remote interactive sexual acts in 2020 was 67. 2021 it was 69. Residential based commercial sex, 462. 2020. Look how much it was in 2021, 525. You know, that's where a lot of child exploitation and all that goes to. Restaurants and food service, 49 in 2020. 2021, 66. Traveling sales crews, 2020 was 59. Traveling sales crews in 2021 was 22. No type mention was 5,802 in 2020. And no type mention in 2021 was 5,788. That does not mean it got better, all right? This table shows a breakdown of the number of likely victims by the type of trafficking they experienced, as defined in Polaris's report, Typology of Modern Slavery, defining sex and labor trafficking in the United States. Note that while type of trafficking is similar to the venue industry values of the Trafficking Hotline website, there are some differences, and so values may not perfectly match. See how many likely victims in agriculture and animal husbandry in 2020 it went from 10,095 to 13,077. I mean 1,377. I'm sorry I mispronounced that. They said the percentage of likely victims and it said it's dropped 20%. I don't see how that could drop 20% when it was of likely victims 1095 and the likely victims in 2021 was 1,377. That's a that is a plus. That is not a minus. It went up some. Arts and entertainment went up from 36 to 41. Bar, strip clubs, and cantinas 277 to 269. And as I said, it goes for reporting. All right. Carnivals. Carnivals. And we all know about the carnival thing when a certain case we go. I need not mention about the carnival, but a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about here. In 2020, it was number of likely victims 10. 2021, 80. That's from the call. That is from the calls to this place. Commercial cleaning services had went down from the people calling 111 to 24. Construction went up from 240 to 374. Domestic work went from 248 to 302. Emergent types 616. 281. Escort services went from 1801 to 1734. Factories and manufacturing 189 to 206. Forestry and lodging 70 from 274. Health and beauty services from 32 to 27. Health care went from 24 to 32, but it's going like it's minus 15%, but it's like, excuse me. Hotels and hospitality 37 to 106. Man, that looks like the way they're going through that, using the hotels and hospitality. We all know that that's a part of it too. Illicit activities 256 to 234 reported. Illicit massage, health and beauty went from 959 to 1,055. Landscaping 166 to 48. Outdoor solicitation 345 to 324. Well, the outdoor solicitation, I don't think they're going to be doing that as much as they got the internet to do it. Peddling and begging 66 to 135. Personal sexual servitude 419 to 276. Pornography 1,472 to 1,262. Recreational facilities 12 to 7. Remote interactive sexual acts 90 to 123. Residential based commercial sex 928 to 979. Restaurants and food service 105 to 198. Traveling sales crews from 150 to 71. No type 2 6,917 to 6,988. Situations where the trafficking type is no type typically occur when the person reporting the information references either they don't detail when they call in. They do not let them know what it is. And this is about the demographics, about the gender of likely victims by form. Okay. And this was 2021. Female for labor 844. Likely victims and sex in 2021 was 8,397. Sex and labor 454. Sex plus sex and labor is 8,851. Other not specified is 1,016. The gender minorities is 9 for the labor, 107 for the male sex. Sex and labor 4. Sex plus sex and labor 111. Other not specified 17. Total unique victims 137. Okay, then here is the male. Sorry, the other one I said it was gender minorities, which was 9. The labor 107 for the sex, 107 for sex and labor, 111 for sex and sex plus and labor, and 17 for other not specified. I'm sorry about that. Male, it's 1,814 for labor. For sex, 699. Sex and labor, 103. For sex and plus sex and labor is 102. 802. Sorry, I need to make that bigger where I can. 802. For other not specified, 134. The total unique victims was 2,747. All right, the unknown victims, the labor, unknown gender, okay, 1,118. And this was 2021. See, for the sexual, 1,368. For sex and labor of the unknown, 146. The sex plus sex and labor, 1,514. Other not specified, 348. Total unique victims, 2,980. So when we add all this together, for the labor, there were 3,785 victims. For the sexual, for the sexual form of trafficking, sex trafficking, there were 10,571 cases reported. As I said, it's cases reported. It's not all the victims because a lot of victims do not get reported. Sex and labor, there were 707. There's sex plus sex and labor, 11,278. Other not specified was 1,515. Total unique victims in all of these was 16,554. Okay, and it says gender of likely victims by form labor only. Okay, it says the female will be the top line. So in 2020, 998, 988. I don't know what's wrong with me saying my words right now. 2021, 844. Gender minorities and unknown, 1,197. 2021, 1,127. Male, 1,368. 2021 is 1,814. Total unique victims in 2020, 3,553. Total unique victims in 2021 was 3,785. Here is gender of likely victims by form sex plus sex and labor. The female in 2020, there were 9,217 cases reported of the female alone. In 2021, it was 8,851. Gender minorities in 2020 was 73. In 2021, the gender minority was 111. The male gender likely form of sex and labor, 2020, 874. 2021 was 802. The unknown gender of the victim, 1,329. 2021, the unknown gender is 1,514. Total unique victims in 2020 was 11,493. In 2021, 11,278. Immigration status of likely victims here. The form of trafficking. Okay, I need to minimize that some. Okay, the domestic, the form of trafficking. Okay, form of trafficking, domestic labor 100, sex 507, sex and labor 40, sex plus sex and labor 547, other not specified 55, total unique victims 699. Foreign nationals, the labor was 2,754 for labor. Foreign nationals for sex was 372. For sex and labor, 119. Sex plus sex and labor, 491. Other not specified, 135. Total unique victims for the foreign nationals reported was 3,380. Unknown immigration status is likely victims. Unknown labor, 931. Sex, 9,692. Sex and labor, 548. Sex plus sex and labor, 10,240. Other not specified, 1,325. Total unique victims, 12,475. So when we look at the total unique victims who have been labor trafficked, 3,785. The total unique victims of sex trafficking was 10,571. The total unique victims of these immigration status, sex and labors, was 707. All right. Total victims of sex plus and labor was 11,278. Other not specified number is 1,515. The total unique victims 16,554. The immigration status of likely victims labor only was domestic is 86 in 2020. 2021 was 100. The foreign national 2,510 in 2020. 2021 it was 2,754. The unknown in 2020 957. In 2021 931. The total unique victims in the immigration status of likely victims labor only 3,553. 2020, 2021 it was 3,785. The immigration status of likely victims, sex and labor, former trafficking in 2020 and 2021. Domestic 2020 was 605. Domestic USC LPR was 547. Foreign national 560 in 2020. 2021 it was 491. The unknown former trafficking, the unknown immigration status likely victims, unknown 10,328. 2021 10,240. Total unique victims 11,493. 2021 11,278. The demographics continued right here is 2021 race ethnicity likely victims. African there was 37. Sex former trafficking sex trafficking was 22. There's sex and labor, then there's sex plus sex and labor 22. Other not specified total unique victims 61. but it said African American or black, 35 for labor, 442 in sex trafficking, sex and labor, 16, sex plus sex and labor, 458, other not specified, 4, total unique victims, 55. American Indian, Alaska Native, Indigenous American. There was no kind of labor that they did, but there were 43 reports of an indigenous Indian, Alaska Native, indigenous American Indian, 43. Sex and labor, 7. Sex plus sex and labor, 50. Other not specified, 4. Total unique victims, 55. Out of Asian, the labor was 248. Asian sex trafficking was 497. Asian sex and labor, 38. Sex plus sex and labor of the Asians was 535. Other not specified, well, 795 in all. Caribbean of a labor was 59. The sex trafficking, 9. Sex and labor, there's none reported. Sex plus sex and labor, 10. Other not specified, 0. Total number, 69. Caucasian or white, labor trafficking was 32. The sex trafficking right here was the highest of all the Caucasian and whites was 643 for sex trafficking. Sex and labor, 21. Sex plus sex and labor, 664. I'm going down there reading it all. See which one's going to be the highest. So far, were the highest. And other not specified, 19. Total unique, 714. Latin, I guess that's Latino, whatever. I think it's Latin. There was 1,785 labor trafficking. Because it's from the border over there. Sex trafficking, 395. Sex and labor, 138. Sex plus sex and labor, 553. 533. Please forgive me, I keep messing up with the numbers. Other not specified, 53. Total unique victims, 2,370. So with the number with the trafficking, just being trafficked, is the Latino is the highest so far. Middle Eastern, 9 for labor, 11 sex trafficked. As I said, these are reports. They are not the actual numbers, but these are for the call-in of the demographics in 2021. 3 for sex and labor, 14 for sex plus sex and labor. Other not specified was not there. Total unique victims, 24. Okay. Multiracial, multi-ethnic, 7. That was for labor and trafficking. 122 for sex trafficking. Sex and labor, 8. Sex plus sex and labor, 130. Zero amount other not specified. Total number, 138. Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, 0 for call-ins for labor trafficking. Sex trafficking, there was 4, 0 for sex and labor. Sex plus sex and labor, 4. No amount for other not specified. How did we get 4 right there when it said Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander 4? Then it's got the total number 6. Like, okay. Other, 12 for the labor trafficking. 17 for sex trafficking. 0 amount for sex plus sex, or 0 for sex and labor. 4 for sex plus sex and labor. And 0 for otherwise specified. Total number 31. Now here's the unknown. This is the unknown. Labor trafficking on the unknown, what the person's race was 1,567. For the unknown race that was called then for sex trafficking, it was 8,538. For the sex and labor, 497. For the sex plus sex and labor, 9,035. Otherwise not specified, 1,413. Total amount was 11,996. So the total unique victims in the labor trafficking was 3,785. For the sex trafficking, it was 10,571. In the sex and labor, 707. In the sex plus sex and labor, 11,278. Other not specified, 1,515. Total unique victims, 16,554. And a lot of people don't think this is a problem. So when we went like this and we discussed, we went over a lot of this already, but we're continuing on with their pages. But according to, look at the difference on, just note that it's with the calls. It's not with how the actual numbers really are because a lot of people do not call. A lot of people do not report. This is based on calls. Race, ethnicity of likely victims, labor only, no other or unknown. African in 2020 is 42. African American or black was 63. American Indian, Alaska Native Indigenous was 5. Asian, 119. Caribbean, 10. Caucasian or white, 32. Latin, 1,711. Middle Eastern, 29. Multiracial, multi-ethnic, 4. Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander, 4. Or 0, sorry. And then there's 2,015 victims, labor victims. In 2021 now, the African, 37. African American or black, 35. American Indian, Alaska Native, Indigenous American, it does nobody reported any of those, but we know that there are a lot of victims out there. Asian went to 248. Caribbean went from 10 to 59. Caucasian or white stayed at 32. Latin went from 1711 to 1785. Middle Eastern went from 29 to 9. Multiracial, multi-ethnic went from 4 to 7. Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander stayed at the same 7. Total unique victims were 2,202. Race, ethnicity of likely victims, sex plus sex and labor, no other or unknown. Okay? We don't add the no other or unknown. These are the known cases. Okay? So right now they restricted and took out the no other or unknown. Okay? So put in mind that we don't know what the other or unknown that was up here, the unknown. Okay? We don't know all them people right there, the 11,996 people. We don't know. Okay? So put in mind, there's still 11,000 people not even documented on this form right here that the call ins reported. Okay? So let's get to this one. All right. In 2020, this is the, like I said, the sex plus sex and labor. African, 443. 2021, it went to 22. Okay. In 2020, African American or Black, 405. In 2021, it went to 458. The American Indian, Alaska Native, Indigenous American in 2020 was 47. In 2021 was 50. The Asian in 2020 was 562. That was sex plus sex and labor. 562. 2021 is 535 reported. In the Caribbean, in 2020, it was 9. In 2021, it was 10. Caucasian or white in 2020, 578. In 2021, it was 664. The Latin, 2020 was 390. 2021 was 533. Middle Eastern, there were 13 in 2020. In 2021, there's 14. Multiracial, multi-ethnic, 95, 2020. 2021 was 130. Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, there were 6 in 2020, and there were 4 in 2021. So with the 2020 people that had a race specific likely victims with sex and labor, 2020 was 2049. In 2021, it was 2,227 victims. These demographics continued. It says these tables show the age of likely victims at the time of their contact with the trafficking hotline, which is not necessarily at the age when the exploitative situation began. See age and entry into exploitation. Blair's uses the federal standard of 18 as age of majority for all situations, regardless of laws in specific jurisdictions. All likely victims included as minors were reported by individuals with a high degree of confidence regarding the likely victim's age, given the significance of whether a likely victim is an adult or minor. The actual age is unknown. If the apparent age is close to the adult minor boundary, a likely victim is described as being 16 to 20. Unknown is selected. 2021, age at first contact with Polaris. All right. The adult labor, 2,894. The minors were 310. And the unknowns, 581. Of the total unique victims of the labor trafficking was 3,785. The sex trafficking of adults was 5,484 that were reported. The minors were 3,242. And the unknown, whether they were a minor or an adult, 1,844, which goes to the 10,570. For the sex and labor age adult, it's 480. For the minor, for sex and labor, 124. For the unknown age of sex and labor, 103. Total, 707 victims. The sex plus sex and labor, the adult, there's 5,964 reported. The sex plus sex and labor, children of minors, was 3,366 through the Polaris Project. And the unknown age, 1,947. That equals a total of 11,277. Other not specified, adults, 874, minors, 101, unknown, 540, total of 1,515. Total unique victims with the adults equals in these trafficking situations was 9,709. For the children, it was 3,777. Total number for the age unknown is for the victims are 3,067. Total victims in all 16,553. Age at contact with Polaris. Okay, this was the contact age as we labor only in 2020. The adult 2,900 2,955, in which the adult labor only 2,894. The minor in 2020 was 223, and in 2021 there were 310 minor cases. The unknown amount at age was 375 2020. The unknown amount in 2021 was 581. So the total altogether with the age at first contact with Polaris in 2021, labor only, total unique victims was 3,553. 2021, 3,785. So age at first contact, Polaris, sex plus sex and labor. Let's go over 2020 first. So in 2020, the adult, there were 5,644 cases, individuals. The minor, there was 3,427. The unknown, 2,421. Total unique victims, 11,492. 2021, the adult Victims were 5,964. Minors, there were 3,366. And unknown, there were 1,947. The total unique victims in 2021 was 11,277. Had a buzz on my phone, kind of got my mind away for a minute. And I'm close to tears here. I'm sorry. Close to tears, talking about this. Age at entry into exploitation. Age at entry into exploitation refers to the age of likely victims when they first commercial sex act or the first time initiating labor services occurred. This should not be confused with the age the likely victim was when they first contacted the trafficking hotline age at first contact with Polaris. Okay? All right. So it's like adult 1,400, 2020, 1,466. Minors, there were 4,588. Unknown age, 10,596. The total unique victims of 16,610. In 2021, the one put in their mind, like I keep reminding, this was people that called in that number. In 2021, the adults, there were 1,856 victims. Minors, there was 4,708. And unknown, there was 10,028, which had a total of 16,554. And just because that number's down, like I said, that don't mean the numbers have decreased. That just means that some were not reported, and the numbers could be even greater than that. Keep that in mind. In 2021 only, 2021 only, okay, for labor, there were 1,073 adults, 376 minors, and unknown. There were 2,337. That's labor trafficking. For the total of victims, 3,785. For the sex trafficking, the adults, there were 693. The minor, 4,014. Unknown, 5,894. The number of 10,571. Sex and labor of adult, 60. Number for minor children were 181. Unknown age. They said that they felt like they were close to the age of adult, but not sure. They could be 16 to 18, 466. There were 707. Sex plus sex and labor, adult, there were 753. For the minors, 4,195. For the ages from about 16 to 18, unknown age, 6,360, which is 11,278. Other not specified adults, 33. Minors, 139. The unknown, ages about 16 to 18, 1,343. Number of 1,515. Now here is Risk factors and vulnerabilities. Risk factors and vulnerabilities that applied to the likely victims immediately prior to or at the time of entry into the trafficking situation. Reported year 2020, adult with legal guardian conservator, there was 15. Caretaker involvement in sexualized industry, 49. Caretaker substance use concern, 131. Child welfare system involvement, 236. Criminal record, criminal history, 111. Experienced abuse, violence, non-sexual, there was 140. Experienced sexual abuse, violence, 243. Foster care, 113. Gang involvement, 29. Gender romantic sexual minority, 167. Illiterate or semi-literate, that don't require here in this 2020. Intellectual developmental disability is 101. Juvenile justice system involvement, 35. Mental health concern, 351. Negligent absent caretaker, 65. Physical health concern, 155. Prior involvement in sexualized industry, 181. Recent financial debt, 4. Recent loss of economic provider, 20. Recent migration relocation, 2,484. Recent unemployment underemployment, 12. Runaway homeless youth, 398. Self-reported economic hardship, 135. Substance use concern, 449. Unaccompanied refugee minor, 17. Unstable housing, 422. Welfare system involvement, 4. Witness abuse, violence. Hey there, Cash, how you doing? Witness abuse, violence, 22. Total number of victims with known risk factor vulnerabilities was 4,735. So here in 2021, we have with a legal adult with legal guardian conservator, there were 25. Caretaker involvement in sexualized industry, there was 83, so it went up some. Caretaker substance use concern, 130. Child welfare system involvement, 188. Criminal record, criminal history, 146. Experienced abuse, violence, non-sexual, 120. Experienced sexual abuse, violence, 206. Foster care, 126. Gang involvement, 50. Gender romantic sexual minority, 207. Illiterate or semi-literate, 3. Intellectual developmental disability, 141. Juvenile justice system involvement, 25. Mental health concern, 341. Negligent absent caretaker, 65. Physical health concern, 178. Prior involvement in sexualized industry, 120. Recent financial debt, 31. Recent loss of economic provider, 21. Recent migration relocation, 2,685. Recent unemployment, underemployment, 14. Runaway homeless youth, 354. Self-reported economic hardship, 51. Substance use concern, 463. Unaccompanied refugee minor, 133. Wow, it went from 17 to 133. Unstable housing, 422. Oh, so 398, sorry, with their welfare system involvement, 5, witness abuse, violence, 9. As I said, this is what's been reported, and 220, 221, risk factors and vulnerabilities. So when we go on down for the risk factors and vulnerabilities, go on down, there's a big list of all these. So with adult with a legal guardian conservator, this is 2020. That goes a lot. See, risk factors grouped, caretakers concerns, child welfare system involvement, foster care, criminal record, economic, gang involvement. So I'm going to go further on up because I basically wanted to hit on some of the other reported. And like this is recurring locations, noteworthy or common types of locations that the recruitment of exploitative commercial sector labor is known to occur. All right, the detention facility in 2020 there was 26 cases. 2021 this is 25. Put a note the number that it's going at the bottom of the screen. That is the people that were contacted. So everybody who actually went through this, it's not got everyone. It's just got it through the people that's been reported through this Polaris program. There's so many others who have never been reported. So the detention facility, 26 in 2020 and 25 in 2021. There were in the detention facility adults 17 in 2020 and 19 in 2021. And there's for the juvenile detention, there was 5 in 2020. Group and foster homes, there was 17 in 2020 and 14 in 2021. In a group home, there was 12 in 2020 and 8 in 2021. Private foster homes, there were 5, and in 2021 there were 6. The internet, look at the internet there, see? Internet, 606. This is in the United States, basically, but it's also got where there's immigrants that's come here and everything, and Hawaiian descent, and African and trafficking stuff. So it's not worldwide, but the internet 606 in 2020, and in 2021 454. See the internet dating site, there were 64 cases of it, and in 94 there was 94 in 2021. Internet Facebook 162 and 69 in 2021. And of course, like I said, this is one that just called that one Polaris. Internet Instagram 109 in 2020 and 49 in 2021. Internet miscellaneous chat rooms 28 in 2020 and 2021 was 29. Internet other mobile apps 104 2020, 60 in 2021. Internet other not specified 172, and in 2021 168. Look at the schools, y'all. Look here. The elementary school 3 2020, 2021 5. High school grades K through 9 through 12. 2020 there was 12. 2021 there's 13. I think all should be labeled human slavery and the perpetrators cult. I believe so too. I had seen one earlier where it was split across different countries and stuff, and I think one day I'm going to go over that too if you like me to. There's one other program that it showed, you know. Bus station for train station, behavioral, this behavioral mental health facility, 26 in 2021. Look at that. Bus station, train station, rose from 3 to 6 calls. Drug rehabilitation facility, 15 to 11. Institutional shelter, 22 to 27. Street, 90 to 74. Strip club, 27 to 28. See, look at all these right here. 2021 only. The labor detention facility, there were 5. Internet, there were 44. Look at all that. Look at all these numbers here. Got all that, all this kind of stuff with the dealer reported year, the dealer illicit substance provider, employee, family, family member, caregiver. Look at all these numbers here. Look at all these people that's like the 2021 dealer illicit substance provider, employer, family member, caregiver, friend, acquaintance, coworker, international marriage broker, intimate partner, labor recruitment contractor, landlord, smuggler, other potential victims. Look at all this. Look how crazy this is, y'all. Crazy. Like it's got for the sexual, of course, just the sexual alone. It's dealer illicit substance provider, 99. Employer, 76. Family member caregiver, 1,085. Look at that. Friend acquaintance co-worker, 161. International marriage broker, 1. Look at that. It's crazy. 25, 22. Look at all this. It's sickening. Look at these numbers. Then it says sex and labor. Then it says sex plus sex and labor. I don't understand how they can break the two apart like that because to me, when it's sex and labor, it's still sex plus sex and labor. You know what I mean? They can still be sex plus labor. So I don't really get where they differentiate between that. And there's a lot more cases when it's like sex plus sex and labor. I don't really understand why they do that part like that. And here are the recruitment tactics. Abduction in 2020, 282. 2021, there's 288. Coercion, threats, blackmail, 190 in 2020, 110 in 2021. False promises, fraud, 312, 221 and 374. Familial, 1,204 in 2020. 2021, it's 1313. Intimate partner marriage proposition. In 2020, it was 1,111. 2021 is 1,143. Job offer advertisement, 1,713. And then in 2021, 1,462. Very scary. Posing as benefactor, 452. Which my stepmom, when my dad died, she was my kind of like benefactor type of thing, and she took a lot of my money and still did these sexual kind of crazy stuff, kept it going. Posing as benefactor, 2021, 414. Smuggling related, 109. 2020, 189. See the two different numbers here, and that's why I don't really like going over the numbers as well, because we all know that the numbers are far higher than what is really reported. You know what I'm saying there, Cash? The numbers way higher. So when it's like reported year behaviors, the abductions and all that, 2020, and then there's 2021 only. See how that's just 2021 only for the labor trafficking. There's 37 abducted, coercion, 21. And there's actually 1,704 that's for the labor. They put on but the induction labor was 37. Then the sex was 222 for that purpose. For sex and labor, it was 17. For sex plus sex and labor, 239. For coercion, threats, blackmail, and labor, it was 21. Sex, it was 84. Sex and labor, 5. Sex plus sex and labor, 89. Important to keep the topic in the public domain. Exactly. False promises, fraud, labor 242, sex 86, sex and labor 44, sex plus sex and labor 130. You didn't talk about it and it carries on. Exactly. That's what I was saying, like what we were saying the other day. If we don't talk about it, we're just keeping it quiet and it gets worse and it grows. Familial and labor is 137, and sex is 1,085. Sex and labor, 57. Sex and plus sex and labor, 1,142. Then there's other not specified, 35. Then there's intimate party, marriage proposition. I think I went over that. Then there's job offer advertisement, 1,235. Then the sexual trafficking was 305. Wait a minute, 157 on job offer. Okay, then 68 on the sex and labor. Sex plus sex and labor, 225. Then the posing as a benefactor is 73 in labor. Posing benefactor in sex is 305. Sex and labor is 32. Sex plus sex and labor is 337. Okay, then there's smuggling related. There's labor trafficking, which was 145. Then there's sexual, that was 25, 4, sorry. Then sex and labor trafficking was 20. Sex plus sex and labor trafficking is 44. Other not specified is 0. To know that with the number that was total number of victims with known recruitment tactics. That's the victims with known tactics, okay? Not the ones with unknown tactics, the one with known tactics. So under the labor, it was 1,704. And sexual, it was 2,715. And sex and labor, it was 243. And sex plus sex and labor, it was 2,958. And other not specified, it was 100. And then they go with the access points. The systems, institutions, or people the likely victim of trafficking interacted with or had access to during the exploitative situation or immediately after upon escape. Access points are recorded even if the likely victim did not utilize them as a means of escape from their situation. There's, like the access to education, access to here's all the things, the access points. And that's where you get exploited a lot, is what they were saying here. Total number of these known access points, they had these access points here, interaction with religious community, potential buyer, commercial sex. Oh my gosh, see that? Potential buyer of commercial sex, 157, 2020, and 91 in 2021. Interaction with religious community, interaction with family and friends. Origins of the word taboo, but it has to have been one of those we cannot talk about. Nothing is taboo or unreligious we can and should expose. Yes, we should. And I really think that a lot of churches that are disregarding all this, they're helping exploit all this. There's access to education services. You see where this keeps going on and on. Total victims with known access points. So they got the known access points and stuff. And with the sexual, wow. See these large numbers here? These huge numbers. Look at all these numbers. So they had a lot of different accesses with interaction with civil justice, legal help, and all that. But still, access to shelter and all this, mobile apps, social media, health services and stuff. But then there was a potential buyer of commercial sex acts too. That was one of the access points too, and that's not good. That's why they need to make sure, parents need to make sure to protect the kids. Okay, the exploiter relationship to victim. The relationships described between likely victims and their exploiter. Relationships are defined by how the victim defined or would likely define a relationship with their exploiter. See SEC, no controller. 2020 said 110, 2021 48. Dealer, illicit substance provider. Guess it gave them drugs also. But 2020 was 178, 2021 was 157. The employer, it was 2,370, and in 2021 it was 2,200. Exactly. It ticks me off as well. I don't understand why they want to, shut people up for talking about this when we're doing our best to try to help people by doing this. Familiar relationship to victim in 2020 was 1199, and 2021 is 1,349. So that's where their own parents victimized them. See right there in 2020, 1,199. Familiar relationship. Family relationship could be a mother, brother, aunt, uncle, anything. It's there. 2021, 1,345. Oh, yeah, exactly. Then then there's foster parent of victims. There's 30, 2020, 14 in 2021. Intimate partner of victims. 2020 was 1,152, 1,134 in 2021. I know that one of my intimate partners tried to get me to do some crazy crap to his friends and stuff like that, but I refused to do it. Yeah, no conspiracy, habits, and greed, and no progress. Exactly. The landlord, 77. Oh man, the landlord did some of the landlord, and then that's 2020. I think right there, and in 2021, 100 and let's see, landlord is 59 then. Then recruiter, which was a non-employer, 75 in 2020 and 102 in 2021. Then a smuggler, 2020 was 57, and then in 2021, 160. No other relationship. I mean, just complete stranger, okay? In 2020, so it's 75. In 2021, it's 65. Total number of victims with known exploiter relationship was 5,195 in 2020 and 5,126 in 2021. Commercial sexual exploitation of children, no controller, is selected when a minor is independently engaged in commercial sex activity and there is no evidence of a third party facilitator or trafficker. Even if there is no third party facilitator, trafficker involved, a minor engaging in commercial sexual activity is always considered to be trafficking. No other relationship is selected when survivors have identified their traffickers solely as an individual who trafficked, exploited them and did not experience any alternative form of attachment to the potential trafficker, not a family member, employer, intimate party, etc. And if you look up here, that's what it's talking about, 110, no controller. All right. But they had to get it from somewhere, commercial sex activity. It's selected when a minor is independently, it's doing it itself without uh, an adult doing exploiting them. But that's kind of hard to say without an adult exploiting them to do so because the adults are buying them to do this to them. Crazy. So the total number of victims right here from labor is 2,378. One number too many, zero one day, maybe not, but should be the ultimate absolute guide goal of humanity in this world. You're not being naive at all. That's what I was saying a little earlier before you came on. I said, you know what? Even one, even the number one, is too many kids to be exploited, too many adults, too many anybody that is being trafficked or harmed. That's too many. For labor, of course, the kids were not going to go ahead and exploit themselves for labor, without some people do go and cut people's grass and stuff like that for extra money, but that's nothing wrong with that. But when the kids actually went and sold themselves for sexual, that was 47 of them without. But they might have still been exploited by somebody. But you know what? They went ahead and said that nobody. They ain't gonna tell. Basically, they're not gonna tell on the person that did that. That's the way I look at it. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna. The person. They're afraid of the person. In other words, sex plus sex and labor. Dealer, illicit provider for labor is 10. Employer, like I said, of labor is 1,092. Familiar relationship to victim is 144 under the label. Foster parent of victim is 6. Intimate partner of victim 78. Landlord 29. Recruiter non-employee 96. Smuggler 117. Total number that under the labor trafficking is 2,378. And under the sex trafficking is the SCEC, no controller, is at 47. The dealer illicit substance provider, that's got kind of like alcohol or drugs provider with 124 for sex. Employer 128. Familiar relationship 1,106. Foster parent of victim 7. Intimate partner of victim 945. Landlord 28. Recruiter 4, smuggler 22, no other relationship 58, which is 2,412. The sex and labor, she of course did not do the sex and labor there. And then the dealer illicit substance powder provider 22, sex and labor. Employer 88. Familiar relationship to victim on sex and labor is 59. Foster parent of victim was 9. Intimate partner of victim was 59. Landlord 0. Recruiter 0. Smuggler 20. No other relationship 6, which led to that total of 252. And there's sex plus sex and labor, which was the 48 that she controlled it herself. Dealer illicit substance powder. Provider illicit powder. Provider 146. Employee year 100, 216. Familiar relationship to victim 1,165. Foster parent of victim 7 kids. Intimate partner of victim 1,004 people. Landlord 30 people. Recruiter non-employee 6. Smuggler, 42. No other relationship, 62, 64, sorry. So then the other is not otherwise specified, which is familiar relationship, the victim, and intimate partner, a victim. That's 90 right there. It goes on and on. You know, horse rider version refers to the methods of control and abuse frequently employed by traffickers to compel a likely victim to remain in the trafficking situation. These tables group more specific methods of FFC into their overarching categories for ease of analysis. Economic abuse includes, but is not limited to, taking, withholding earnings, limiting access to finances, blacklisting or threatening to, and debts and quotas. Emotional abuse includes, but is not limited to, verbal abuse, familiar based emotional abuse, and intimate partner based emotional abuse. Can I ask you purely confused? Have you heard of film Sound of Freedom? Because I heard of it. We going to watch it. Time passed. Yeah, I had heard about it and I had seen about it, and I heard it's a very good film. Um, I had I could start with this and show you something right there in my. I'm going to my YouTube right quick. I'll show you something. I mean, can you see? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. Can you hear me now? Okay. So I'll go over here and I'll show you over here. There's to the right. Can you see over here? Well, wait till I get over there till it catches up with me. So wait till it catches up with me, okay? There is talking about the rescue right here, right over here is where that's a good place to go. The same guy that did that film, he's got a couple other films that are for free over there as well. It's talking about ourrescue.org. We exist to rescue children. So you go to that thing right there, and there are some films there if you want to watch some that he has done. It is amazing. It is awesome. It's this guy right here. I know if I tried to play it right now, it would probably, uh, I would have to mute my microphone or whatever. But let me go to this website right quick, okay? See right here? See, there's the sound of freedom. There's the trafficking and how to join the fight. And then it's got stories matter. It had on here a place where you could watch it, resources, but it just shows the trailer, don't it? You're right. See right there, it just shows a trailer right there. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do that trailer right quick. So I have to remove my um, audio.
How many pedophiles you got?
288.
How many kids you found?
It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen. It has already passed the illegal arms trade, and soon it's going to pass the drug trade. Because you can sell a bag of cocaine one time with a child 5 to 10 times a day. God's children are not for sale.
How long you been doing this?
12 years now.
How many pedophiles you got?
288.
How many kids you found?
Timoteo, tú rescatas niños, ¿verdad? ¿Puedes ayudarme a encontrar a mi hermana?
Te lo prometo.
For Homeland Security, you know we can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
Which means she'll disappear for good. Imagine walking into her room right now, seeing an empty bed. What we do?
You quit your job and you go and rescue those kids.
So at this moment, she could be a block down the road, or she could be in Moscow, Bangkok, LA. She's a major operator.
It's all rebel territory. No one goes in. Not the army, not the police, not us.
What if this was your daughter?
There's no Marine unit coming.
You're on your own. This job tears you to pieces. And this is my one chance to put those pieces back together.
When God tells you what to do, you cannot hesitate.
An estimated 2 million children are trafficked every year, and we can help them. Sound of Freedom is based on a true story about real-life heroes saving kids.
Look horrible. I think I closed the screen out accidentally. Okay, look horrible. Can you hear me? Okay. I want to get over here and present this, share the screen. I want to show you a couple of films that he does have, what you can watch on his on that website. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? That website. Okay. You can hear me? Okay. Here. See right here on there when I went through up there in the thing at the top, and it says films. It says film. Okay. When it says films down here, see the documentaries. It's got the Sound of Freedom, the Abolitionists, and Operation Tucson. So there's other movies right here that you can watch of his also. Watch trailer. I guess there's going to be a triple take on that. There's one that's it's happening right here, but you got to buy it. It says right here, buy now under it's happening right here. Right here, purchase tickets and Sound of Freedom. I don't know how they go about that. This is two free movies to watch right here too. The Abolitionist, that's a free one to watch, and Operation Toussaint, Toussaint, however you pronounce that, that's a free one to watch as well. You can go to ourrescue.org /films, and you can watch these other two movies too, right there. The Abolitionist and Operation Toussaint. People are criticizing. They do not like the fact of speaking out against child sexual abuse. You know what I'm saying? They don't like the fact that they were putting a stop to it. They don't like the fact, and if you look at YouTube, Operation Rescue and stuff like that, there's this place that's going every day and really promoting this operation, the Sound of Freedom, at YouTube, big time, man. And they got like hour shows and everything, and it's a big impact. And they're getting mad because some of the actors and actresses and all these people are getting exposed, and they're getting mad about it. Some famous people are involved with this too, the trafficking. So they're basically afraid of themselves getting caught. You know what I'm saying? But look at that. That's where he adopted. He rescued two kids, but he rescued more and everything. So he tells more about his life, the abolitionist. Um, you'll learn more about who he is, Tim Ballard. He's the one that actually did the film. And so, if I was you, you can go right here and watch the films on ourrescue.org. See the thing up here? I guess I'll write it down right here. Okay. Our dot org. Oh, it did a space in between our rescue. It shouldn't have done that. I hate when it does that. It tries to corrects it. It keeps correcting it. Yeah, the view is that what are the what are your friends saying? I think some people just want to try to quieten us up. You know what I mean? See, it's even got a place up underneath these two movies, Abolitionist and Operation Toussaint, where you could actually watch now. So if I were you, those two movies will help set you up for others. You know what I mean? I like it right there. Some people are being critical also because of the people that he put as a reference to support, and I would not go with the people that he referenced to support to contact because of the fact uh, that child sex trafficking grew under their watch once they started. Like they maximized it. Yeah. Any profit to be able to be for the rescue because that guy that does this is the truth. This ain't just a story. This guy actually goes and he rescues people. If you watch The Abolitionist and Operation Toussaint, you'll see what I'm talking about there. You know what I'm saying? Kim Ballard actually, now I don't think they need to give it to charity because right here, this is kind of like our operation.org, and they are using that money to try to help go and do the fight and to rescue more kids. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to get the money in this film where they put more. Like I said, since inception, our has put an emphasis on telling the stories of survivors in order to spread awareness of the brutal and disturbing prevalence of human trafficking and exploitation. This is why we place so much importance on film. Though the passion and generosity of some of our biggest advocates in the film industry, we have been able to take part in a number of documentaries intended to bring these horrendous crimes into the public eye. We thank you for your support that allows us to continue fighting against the darkness and the filmmakers who have chosen to share stories about this fight with the world. Yeah, see, it ain't about uh, promoting the film. It's about getting the word out about this thing happening, going and going and trying to rescue these people because it costs a lot of money for them to have money to go over there. Sometimes they have to use some of the money to pay traffickers and then try to get that money back. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they go and do that. Like in one of the movies, you'll see it, him and his wife, and then Him and his wife ended up adopting two of the kids from an orphanage that they were being trafficked. These people came in there trying to sell all the kids that in the in the orphanages and stuff. There was one guy whose child was kidnapped, but they never found him. But he was the main reason that started him on this. But he was with the United States government trying to help uh, trafficking victims, and then he decided to go out on his own. That Tim Ballard, he says he could do a lot more when he's not working for the government. He could do a lot more going out there too, you know. Who was AWP Jared Leach? There's a history of wrongness. I tell you, the history of child exploitation and all that. You know, there's a lot of police officers and all this involved, and they're genuine. Do they even have a thing that says donate now when they're looking for it? And they said the money helps continue fighting against the darkness. And the filmmakers who have chosen to share stories about this fight with the world, fight against this stuff with human trafficking, trying to rescue these kids and these other people. Adventures with purpose. Oh, okay. Yep. But the thing about it is, some people just don't really understand the prevalence of it. Some people say it's just publicity, but it's not just publicity. There's so much going on in our houses, and just too many people getting away with it. We can't sugarcoat it and make it look like it's not happening when it's happening. It's happening too often. That's a good-hearted YouTube channel. And the thing is, people a lot of times will say something like that just so that they do not get aggravated or agitated with real life. Don't talk about this. It's such an atrocity. It's not something God wants you to do. All these Christians tell us, don't be doing it. It's wrong. You're really trying to exploit people. You're just trying to do that, but you're trying to show that you're saving and rescuing children. You're exploiting. No, you're not. You're going like this and you're giving people hope that this kind of thing happens. You show the instances and what kind of things that the people are having to go through during this stuff. You know what I mean? And that's what they're doing. They're bringing awareness in these films. Yeah, exactly. I did not think the church would be against me either. I did not think that. I thought the church would stand beside me as a Christian and say, yeah, you need to keep doing this. You need to help kids. You need to tell your story. You need to help others. But instead, they're telling me I'm an abomination to God, that I don't need to be telling my story, that I don't need to be doing that. You know what I'm saying? It's like they want to just continue and keep us quiet. That's one way that they manipulate people by putting falsehoods out there, by saying that it's just for populist reasons, to be popular. Yeah, that's shush. Keep it quiet. Keep it down. Don't talk about it. That gives them more purpose where they can keep getting out and hurting more kids, and they can keep doing their job and kidnapping and killing kids and sexually exploiting them and everything. But by all means, keep quiet because it's not godly. It's not godly for you to speak out against this. God tells us to protect our kids. God tells us to tell our stories and help other people with their story, so that you can help others. God tells us that in the Bible, but they tell me that I'm an abomination. I need to keep quiet. Oh, yeah. And I think they are easily going by also what their own family is saying. You know what I'm saying? If they got family members that, it's like this abomination to speak about or whatever. So, you're just all of a sudden saying, that's just a thing. But, just wait till one of them experiences it themselves because it's growing so big. Wait till one of their kids or grandkids experience that fear and their kid goes missing and stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm going to hell for going like this and speaking out against it, supposedly, according to them. But yeah, they're the ones that got to be going to hell because they're not doing right. Well, I'm trying to protect and defend people, get the word out, and help others. And that's what he wants us to do. He wants us to help others. A lot of his disciples and apostles and all that kind of stuff cried out too, when nobody listened. But that's just I believe their way of trying to shut us up. You know what I mean? But like you and I have been saying, we're not going to fall victim to them us being quiet and letting more kids get hurt. Can't do that. What kind of people we be? We just keep letting these kids get hurt and killed and maimed and kidnapped and everything else. Exactly, exactly. And with sex abuse and that kind of stuff, they said that pedophilia originally arose after like rapists or whatever, they get tired of raping women, right? But then they got to find something more exciting and then everything, and then they end up moving to a kid and doing that. You know what I'm saying? Then they end up moving to that sexual. Like my own sister, I know this is disgusting, but like my own sister had said, that told one of my boys that dad never did anything sexual to us, but said that dad would ejaculate all over our faces. How that is not, when somebody does something like that, there's more than a person does. They used to do that when we were infants. So they want to put it off as the person never did to get older, realize, oh, he just triggers me any world. Right, exactly. Had you ever been abused or I think it gets triggering because we're seeing so much hate in the world and like how could these people really do this? Get away with it? And they're getting away with it because they want people to get exactly. It's sickening. You look at that and I seen like three more stories about kids getting murdered. And I'm like, there's no way to catch up with all the stories about these kids that's getting violated or the murder or anything else. Expect your mom was, but you don't know. I'm afraid she wasn't. But it happens too often, you know what I'm saying? And as you said, it was taboo to talk about. But I would recommend you to go to that place, ourrescue.org, and go in there and you can do ourrescue.org /films, and the films will show up. Oh, so much. Yeah, happy enough. It's, it said that taboo is the origin of Tongan, which is a late 18th century from Tongan taboo, set apart forbidden, introduced by English by Captain James Cook. It says the term taboo is of Polynesian origin and was first noted by Captain James Cook during his visit to Tonga in 1771. He introduced it into the English language, after which it achieved widespread currency. So it's prohibited or forbidden. That's what we were learned. That's why we as kids we were told that we were to be silent, not heard. You know what I mean? Uh, that's where we get it from. But we won't remain silent when we don't want other victims out there. I appreciate you being here and everything today. I think I'll go ahead and go, but be sure you can go over there to our origins. Let's see, ourrescue.org /films, and you can see some of them other films too. I really appreciate you, and I thank you so much for coming. May your day be blessed. Keep cool enough too. What are you doing other than face? And then it goes to bad. Then you get from. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we get really mad and stuff when we get told to hush or something like that, but we're not going to hush. That's right. We will not stay silent. That's true. Exactly. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming, my friend. I do appreciate you being here for me and for this because I think it needed to be out there too. And please stay cool during this hot weather. Okay. Thank you.